What's going on, guys? Man, it's been a minute, man, since I made a video. When the last time I made a video, man? Anyway, man, that ain't why I'm here, man, but just vlogging, man. As y'all know, many of you anyway, shoot, up here at the plantation, vibing out. Just got a little downtime right now, but I'm up here working. But anyway, man, just going through a transitional phase, man, at this level of life. Not at my age, but just at this level of life, man. And when it comes to fatherhood, when it comes to being a hubby, you know what I mean? In fact, this year I'm celebrating 25 years, man. August 31st, man. Y'all give me a round of applause, man. Celebrating 25 years, man. And somehow in an awesome way, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. I really wouldn't, man. I don't care if you a Holly Berry with Oprah Winfrey money. I wouldn't change it, man. My experience been spectacular, man. I just overall awesome, man. And like I said, and we still going. So like I say, who knows what's ahead? But anywho, that ain't why that's not why I'm here to vlog. All right. But it's been on my mind, so this is me talking about it. Like I say, it's documented, and it's just how I feel at the moment. But of course, it ain't about me being in my feelings. It's just me being logical about the whole entire situation. And what I'm speaking to is, growing up, many of us, depending on what community you grew up in, what neck of the woods, many of us heard about a lot like Western world women having HOE phases, right? And that's basically where it's kind of like, whether that's between the age of 13 and 21, whether that's 15 to 21. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's just come a time where females feel the need to say, you know what, I'm finna get loose. It's almost like that Oprah Winfrey, you get some nookie, you get some nookie, you get some nookie, you get some nookie. You know what I mean? Whatever number you want to put on it. But I just feel like as fathers and as men, we don't talk about it enough. And we hear about it, but we just don't talk about it enough. And some of us don't brace ourselves, you know what I mean? And you're like, man, where this coming from, man? Let me get to the meat, man. Listen, I got two daughters, all right? I got a soon-to-be 19-year-old and I got a 9-year-old, you know what I mean? And I hope this don't come off as disrespectful, all right? And I want to be clear, all right? To have a whole phase, I mean, even if you're a dude, you know what I'm saying? And let's just be clear and let's be even, all right? You know what I mean? Men, males and females can have a whole phase, all right? Let's be clear on that. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person, all right? I honest to God mean that. That don't mean you're a bad person because you know what you want to do or you know what you like or, to some of you, what you think you like. You know what I mean? Because, like I say, I'm talking about females particularly because you heard me say this a million times. A lot of times women make permanent decisions based off of their temporary emotions. And so when you make certain decisions, you can't undo these decisions. And I know with women being emotional creatures and they tend to make those type of decisions based off of their emotions, a lot of people get, it affects a lot of people, whether it's the siblings, whether it's the parents, whether it's the neighbors, whether it's the classmates, whether it's the extended family, like people who the overall people who love you, your loved ones, a lot of times they get hit with the stray, meaning, decisions you make, it can affect them, and so again, like I say, I don't think men, a lot of fathers like brace themselves for that moment. Some do, and let me clear my situation up like real quick, like, all right, I want to make sure I'm clear. I know what it's like to be a player, all right? I know what it's like not to toot my own horn, but I was him back in the day, all right? I was him, and I didn't turn it up to the max. And when I say I didn't turn it up to the max, when I was out, playing the field, when I was out being young, figuring things out, I made decisions, right? And, you know, I can't say that I'm proud of all of the decisions I made, but I did learn. And so let me drop a gem real quick. Smart people learn from his or her mistakes. Wise people learn from others. And I just want to be open-minded and know that in my human experience, I made decisions, and a lot of decisions I made, I wasn't like proud of all of them. But nonetheless, I learned, okay? And so again, back to this whole phase, it don't mean you're a bad person because you touching the water and you trying to figure out life. You know, now some people have help and have guidance, and it's like, you know, hey, pump brakes, you know what I mean? You in a rush to go nowhere fast. Take heed, listen, you know what I'm saying? And if you got good people on your team, listen to them and allow them to help you and guide you, but don't try to take on the world alone. Like that whole me against the world Tupac mentality, don't try to take on the world alone. All right? Like people getting their ass handed to them out here, but life is out here lifing, you know what I'm saying? And people getting handled to the point, you know, pressure bust pipes, if you know what I mean. You know, you deal with enough of life and you can't handle it. I just said that away. Pressure bust pipes. All right? So you got to be careful out here. You know what I mean? So anyway, back to this whole phase. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that your life won't amount to anything. You know, that's not what that means. You know, it's one of those things where, again, you know, speaking to like females, meaning, you know, it don't shock me anymore to see why men, you know, what, you know, call women the B word, you know what I mean? You know, the female dog, you know what I'm saying? Because when you look at this whole phase, it's like parallel to the female dog. And they like, you know, it's crazy how I run it. You know what I mean? Women, they refer to the men as dogs. But then when you look at the ways of like a lot of Western world females, it's like parallel to that of a female dog in heat. You know, especially this whole phase I'm speaking to, because it's like all your intelligence go out of the window, meaning all of your logical thinking go out of the window, and you make a split-second decision based off of your emotions. And remind you just feeling that way, and it's temporary. The way you feel, you know, like, you know, you feel like, hey man, look, the love is there, or I'm ready for this, and you make this decision, and you don't yet understand and know your value. Your brain is still developing, and you know, you don't completely know what's going on. You know, a lot of young females, you know, they Instagram, you know, influence them, social media, you know, they look at people highlights, they look at other people's lives, and they think it's cool. When you look at magazines, these TV shows, I just heard about this TV show called Baddies. Never seen it before, but you know, a lot of young females who trying to find themselves, they get caught up in this, and then we don't have enough real women to say, hey, whoa, hold your horse. Look, this is not how this works. We don't have enough mentorship and guidance from a lot of women to say, hey, hold your horse. Wait, you know, put some thought into this, and you know, hey, you know, giving the young females the game, it's almost like, hey, that's just how I go. Get out there and F around and find out, you know, and it's like, that's the mentality. And a lot of young females are left to try to figure it out for themselves. But again, like I say, when it come to me, and you know, and I mentioned earlier about me being a player, you know, from the Himalayas, like I went out there like that, you know what I mean? You know, to be honest, like I say, I'm not exempt. My whole phase was short-lived. It was, you know, to the point I felt bad. Like, man, you know, like, damn, you like, dude, you was him. You know what I mean? You wasn't a bad-looking guy. You had a JOB. You had some duckies in your pocket. You hustled. You know what I'm saying? You knew how to talk with the females, and you was him. You could have doggone, you know, you could have been that guy. You know what I mean? Like, numbers out the roof, you know, because we high-five one another. When guys go through their whole phase, we high-five. And like, you know, how many bodies you got? Oh, man, he's the man. You know, but then it's the quite opposite for the females, because it's like, wait a minute, you like human and I'm human, but you the female version, I'm the male version. And basically what I'm saying is, the men have an organ to penetrate. Men have a organ to penetrate and, you know, enter the temple. You know what I mean? If enough people enter the temple and knock down the walls, and you need reconstructors, like you need reconstruction surgery, you need some surgery, you know what I mean? Some guys got length, girth, and curve, and some guys, I mean, it's just, you know, when you factor in, like, you know, the body count of a woman. But anyway, man, back to, let me just get to the point, man. I'm kind of all over the place, man. But when it comes to, like I say, me being a player, I was one of the ones who, like, to this day, I respect the game. I don't hate the players. The ones who are here playing this game, I don't hate the players. I mean, it's just the game itself. And that's what a lot of men, you know, that's my message to you. Respect the game. I mean, we was out trying to date somebody's daughter, cousin, niece, auntie, sister. And so, like, respect the game. Respect the game. We had our turn. Now it's just their turn. Some of them bounce back, and some of them snap out of it, you know, and they, you know, have a concrete foundation, and they able to bounce back and snap back to reality and say, hey, wait a minute, let me doggone love myself, let me value myself, let me not, like, disrespect myself on this level when it comes to spiritual debris. Some people have that foundation and they able to bounce back, some they don't. You know what I mean? You know, some females are possessed. You know, it's called like you know, they possess with that, what they call a Jezebel spirit. You know what I mean? If you don't know about Jezebel, Google the Jezebel spirit. The Bible even speaks about it. You know what I mean? And so some females, a lot of them are possessed, you know, and I want to put emphasis on that. Some are possessed, you know, and they lose, you know, they train the thought, they forget who they are, they get lost, they get caught up, you know, they want to fit in, and it seems cool, and you know, and it's good for the moment, you know what I mean, and until they fully lose themselves, and by the time they come to the realization that, dang, man, you know, sometimes they again go back to that pressure bust pipes, and it's like, I don't want to play the game anymore, I don't want to participate, count me out, and then they, you know, do the I don't want to call it the obvious. They do the, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, man. You know, I'm one of the ones who respect the game, and like I say, man, to many of you fellas, man, you know, y'all know it's just, you know, that's part of it. It come with it, man. We used to have a saying back when we was running the streets: 99 problem and a whoop ain't one. And so it's only until you become a father, and then now you have daughters, and you know, you are. You know, you now understand and know the beauty of a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't take for you to have daughters, you know, it just takes for you to mature, you know what I'm saying? And some mature faster than others, some never get it, you know, but I'm just in that space right now, so I'm kind of venting and vlogging about it, like I say, up here at the plantation, you know what I'm saying? And so, again, I want to say this last little bit about us having a human experience. A lot of times you can't tell people what the matrix is. You know, people have to see for themselves. I'm gonna say that again. A lot of times you can't tell people about the matrix and what the matrix is. They have to see for themselves. You know, and so as we have our human experience, you have negative energy out here, and you got positive energy out here. And when it comes to the spirit world, you know, you got to stand guard, you know, at the front door of your mind. You must believe in a higher power and seek guidance. Ask questions. Communication is the key. You know what I mean? And you have to soul search, you know, but you must, you know, keep the energy of your spirit up. Once your spirit get low, it's no different from a cell phone battery. Your energy get low, what happened to your phone? You down to 2%, you down to 1%, you down to 0, shut down. Out of here. It's dead. You know, and so that's how it is out here in life, man. You stay around positive people, you keep your spirit charged up, and you stay positive. You know, a lot of times people think the grass is greener on the other side, go over and touch the water and realize, you know what, this ain't it. But like I told you earlier, some people recover and some people don't. You know what I'm saying? But again, man, when it comes to that whole phase, I understand why a lot of women get out here and think that the grass is green on the other side, and they go through this whole phase. But then once they reach a level of maturity, it's like, you know what? I want to settle down. I want to get out of the way. I now know better. I done played and had my fun. Now I want the best guy out there who's going to be loyal to me, help me take care of my child if you have a child, or children. You know, even if you don't and you get older and you ran through, it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Real men, the real men, because I think a lot of people think that men are like stupid or ignorant. Now you got some guys who don't know any better, and you know, a lot of times I call them simps. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like they play the game different. They'll say or do anything just to, get some for JJ, or whatever the woman want. They the ones who run around here. Even the betas, happy wife, happy life. They not like taking leadership role like as an alpha, as a sigma. They not taking that leadership role like, hey, I'm the head. At the end of the day, money don't define me. My innate tendencies, me being the man that I am. I'm a leader, I'm a provider, I'm a protector. 2 incomes better than 1. This day and age, even if you make more money than me, that don't mean you exalt your throne over me, and you have to take that somewhere else. Real men not going for it. Real men are just not going for it. No. Nah. You have to take that somewhere else, and you have to find somebody who you can body slam and tell what to do and control. That don't work with real men. And so a lot of women, they like the idea of having a real man, but then they still have that spirit of that whole phase, meaning I want to do what I want to do when I want to do, but I still want you to be traditional and be the real man that I want you to be. And it's like that it just don't go together. And then so you hear a lot of times of women, I need a guy who can handle me. I need a guy who gonna keep me in check, because they off the chain, literally and figuratively. They off the chain, you know what I mean? And again, it's like parallel to that female dog running around like in heat. If anybody who ever owned a female dog, man, whether they got it neutered, or not, it's like, well, I can't speak to having it neutered. I never had no female dog neutered before. But anyway, it's like, once you dog on you can they're flat, they wag, they tail, you can pet them, you can play with them, and they nice to the family, and it's a beautiful thing. Once they go in heat, they become rebellious. They'll once they get out of the gate, once they get out of the house and they become rebellious, man, a pit bull will give a poo to some doggone for JJ. They don't care. They just trying to come up off of it. You know what I'm saying? A Rottweiler going doggone, screw a doggone a mutt. It'll screw one of them Taco Bell, Naquero Taco Bell dogs. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They just trying to come up off of it. They in heat. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the perfect analogy for a lot, a lot of what these Western world women go through when it comes to their whole phase. That's the perfect analogy. And I know I said last but not least, but I'm finna wrap it up right now, man. But anyway, like I say, to a lot of you females that have that whole phase, or know that you're going through a whole phase, again, like I say, it don't mean you're a bad person. It's just one of those things where when you come to the realization and you start operating and thinking logically, and you start thinking and you reach a level of maturity, what you're going to find out is you can't undo a lot of the choices you made. You can't undo it. You know what I'm saying? To be able to save yourself and say, you know what, wait a minute, I'm going to save myself for the right man, for the simple fact that, hey, I like security. I want to be protected. I like security. I'm looking for a man leadership, because a man is more logical than I am. And I'm going to trust his leadership if he's the right one. But this would be the trade-off. I save myself for you, but then now I get to tap into your resources, meaning, I have the benefits of protection and security, because it's not meant for me to take on this world alone. It's not meant for you to take on the world alone. I know a lot of you think you can, because things been made so convenient. Things been made convenient. If I don't have a man, I can go to my father. I can go to my nephew. I can go to my brother. I can go to my cousin. I can go to my next door neighbor, and my next door neighbor will do it. My best friend would do it, and I don't need no man. Oh, you do need a man. All of them guys I just named with those different titles are men. If you had your own man, you wouldn't have to borrow everybody else's man. But since you went out here and you've been sexually liberated, you've been socially liberated, and you just been free as you ever, like free than like never before. You done went out here and made a bunch of decisions, and you really believing that you can take on the world alone, and you're delusional. And you're gonna come to the realization. Many of you, like I said, if you reach maturity or if you make it to that level, you're gonna come to find out. You're gonna F around and find out. And so again, like I say, man, this is just part one of Western world women and whole phases. And, you know, guys, fathers, brothers, uncles, brace yourself. Like I say, we all, you know, went out here and we wanted to kick it with somebody, daughter, niece, auntie, sister, you know, you name it. You know what I'm saying? They are, because women are our sister, lover, and friend. They can be all of the above, sister, lover, and friend. You know what I mean? Either you my sister, you my lover, or you my friend. You know, so these are the titles that they hold, you know, and many of us went out and tried to conquer these women. But don't be surprised when you have a daughter and now it's her turn to get out here and live, and it's her turn to be influenced by other Western world women / divas / baddies, all of these like crazy delusional titles and delusional minds and Jezebels that are out here. Because like I say, boy, evil is waiting on them. Evil is waiting on them. So do the best you can. And also keep in mind, this is part one. I just wanted to put it out there. I'm finna get back to work. I'll pick back up some other time, maybe next week. But that's just the introduction of me talking about Western world women in the whole phase and how the trade-off is real. You know, a lot of women go out here, they'll find Pookie or Ray Ray and bless him, you know, and allow him to come in the temple. And, you know, once they come to the realization and become logical or reach a level of maturity, now they want a real man. After they done played and goofed off, now they want a real man to come kind of clean up the mess. And like I say, whether they have children or not, you know, but now I understand it now. I understand it. And some, you know, are the exception. They like, hey, listen, I know I went out and made some decisions, but I'm going to find something on my level. And, you know, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do better now that I know better. And so, again, I'm going to leave off on this note. An error doesn't become a mistake unless you refuse to correct it. And also, a smart person learns from his or her mistakes, and a wise person learns from others. So keep that in mind. Take that with you. And like I say, be grateful, be thankful, remain studious, and like I say, enjoy your human experience. So y'all remember, what's old girl name from that movie, y'all, with Ice Cube? Are we there yet? Y'all remember Miley Cyrus, Hilary Duff, Lizzie McGuire, Keke Palmer. Too many to name, man. Too many to name. Meaning, there's been quite a lot of little child celebrities we watched growing up. You know, innocent, wholesome. And then you look up one minute like, what? That's old girl? For real? That's how it happened, man. That's how it happened, man. So, like I say, you know, you still have it in your head. That person, doggone, you know, wholesome, innocent, sweet, got a bright future ahead of them. You look up, whoa, she outside. That's what's called a daughter. I'm gonna say, but they won, boy. I see them out there in the doggone on that pole, boy. For real, for real. I see them out there on the stroll, boy. I see them on the pole, see them on the stroll. For real.